I'm hanging out with the 40 milers right now. 40 milers!
We're at the starting area of the 20th Annual Maine Lighthouse Ride in South Portland, where 800 riders will cycle various distances from 25 to 100 miles, including portions of the Eastern Trail, a dedicated bike path for recreation and commuting that this event benefits through the Eastern Trail Association.
The Eastern Trail is a 65-mile trail from here to Kittery. It's part of the East Coast Greenway.
Cloudy and cool late summer, or is it early fall morning, near the Spring Point Ledge Lighthouse, looking across to House Island. Cyclists slowly gather within a few hundred feet of the starting point, but not crowding up to it. Since this is very much a ride, not a race, with safety, not speed, the top priority.
Here we go. First start, the 20th anniversary Maine Lighthouse Ride. 3, 2, 1, and you're off.
In small waves, 100 cyclists gradually head out on this 40-mile route, which will visit 8 lighthouses in South Portland, Cape Elizabeth, and surrounding towns. But we're closely following one particular rider, Larry Langmore, in his effort to complete this distance today.
Oh well, first wrong turn. We'll get back on it. Yeah. Hello. Hey, we got a flat tire. I don't know if you can help out with that. We're on the the gravel section out to the marsh. It's okay. It's there. I mean, if I go over bumps and laugh, feel it, but it's good.
Wrong turns, flat tires, bumpy roads, they can cause problems for any cyclist at any point along a ride like this one. But they pose much more of a challenge for Larry today because he's only 3 months out from completing chemotherapy.
Well, I was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, and so I've had 4 treatments of chemotherapy, and they do in fact get worse. But during that period, I was able to ride 100 miles a month during that period. I got to admit the 4th treatment, the last 30 miles I had on June 29th and 30th were a difficult 30 miles, but I did them, 15 a day. And then just last month I rode 255 miles, and then we're into September.
Larry is quick to smile and laugh even during discussions of his cancer. He's approximately 70 years old, graying hair, thin face, and a lean physique, having been active throughout his life with seasonal attachments to skiing, cycling, and kayaking. These activities were often shared with a close friend and college classmate who died of prostate cancer just a few months before Larry's diagnosis.
And so Dick passed away in June, and actually 2 weeks ago we had sort of a memorial service at Higgins Beach where I live with 5 of the fraternity brothers came up, and I was honored enough by his ex-wife who flew in from Minnesota to spread some of his ashes there in the ocean at Higgins Beach. So it's come full circle.
It was Larry's friend Dick who urged him to get tested, just as Larry now does for friends, colleagues, and fellow cyclists.
Yeah, Dick Shady was my college... Sorry. That's okay. He was a dear friend, obviously. So he and I were college roommates, fraternity brothers. He and I, over the years, stayed connected. And I remember when I first started having elevated PSAs, he kept telling me, and he was a lot further along, he said, go get a biopsy, go get a biopsy.
Larry now dedicates much of his time and energy to raising awareness about the disease. With daughter Katie and friend Dan, they formed a team to raise money for a nationwide effort to cure prostate cancer.
The name of the team is A We Ride, which comes from our time together in New Zealand where everything's a huge understatement. So you go on a wee hike, well, it's a 2,000-foot hill, right? So she came up with that, and I also used this event to help leverage a fundraising goal for prostate cancer. I found an organization called Zero Prostate Cancer, and they were incredibly helpful.
Cycling is very much a central part of Larry's own recovery process. According to the American Cancer Society, prostate cancer is the most common non-skin cancer in the U.S., affecting 1 in 8 American men. In a Season 1 episode also on cycling with cancer, the exercise oncologist Dr. Catherine Smits, she described the importance of an exercise program for cancer patients.
And what we can guarantee is that if somebody does zero exercise while they're going through the entirety of their treatment during the 3, 6, 9, 12-month period, they will come out in much worse shape. They will have aged functionally.
All of these elements have come together to motivate Larry to complete this 40-mile distance today on the Maine Lighthouse Ride. But that goal's been complicated by an injury on a training ride just a few days ago.
And of course, the journey never ends, because yesterday I was out riding. I was just going to have a small ride, and I fell off my bike onto a set of railroad tracks, so my side is a little bit sore right now. The doctor said, you should be all right. I'll give you a 20-30% chance of riding, so I may not do the full 40 miles.
I'm Robert Pease, and we're talking the rewards and challenges of cycling with cancer this episode on My Body Odyssey, the first in a series of 3 on that theme. This time, our resident audio and cycling guru, Kevin A. Klein, he'll be riding along with Larry, Larry's daughter Katie, and friend Dan on most of these 40 miles, assuming Larry can complete the distance, which is an open question this morning.
Larry, it's good to see you.
Good to see
this
you
morning
again.
on the ride.
Good to see you.
I didn't expect to see you this early.
Well, you know, early bird, as they say.
Right? And we're not even at the start.
Yeah.
And Katie's here too, so good to see you as well.
Kevin helps Larry mic up for the ride, just a small pocket-sized recorder with a
Yeah, that's
lapel
gonna be
mic
great.
attached to Larry's collar.
Push record.
Yeah, just hit the record button. We want to make sure the counter starts going, and you're all set. You
I'm
can
all
throw that
set.
in a pocket
All right.
and forget about it.
No swearing.
Well, that's why Kevin's here. He can edit, right?
Having formulated their swearing strategy, the We Ride team and Kevin head out after just a brief detour.
Huh? Oh, I think down there.
And we're just kind of trying to figure out which way the course goes. Larry's getting some extra mileage because he kind of missed the turn.
Oh well, first wrong turn. We'll get back on it. We go from first to last in a nanosecond. All right. It's the last time I lead.
The group settles in on the first 10-mile segment, which includes several miles of the Eastern Trail. This passes through green space and also residential neighborhoods in South Portland, a mix of stately older Victorians and newer construction. At mile 5, the conversation turns to the grandkids, Larry asking Katie about the start of their school year.
So the girls are doing good in school first week?
Yeah.
They both love it?
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
there's so much information that
Yeah. Yeah, James really loves it too, which was, James really loves it.
nice.
That was a test.
At mile 8, Larry takes stock of the fundraising effort the We Ride team's undertaken for zero prostate cancer.
So what are we up to? It was 13,465, was it?
The what?
The total, I think 13,4.
Oh, 13. Like 89%.
Yeah. So Dan, we got, I'm up to 13,400. Incredible.
And at mile 10, the subject turns to how Larry's feeling with 30 miles to go as they approach the first designated spot where Larry could give in and end the ride early.
I don't think I've ever ridden on this. Oh, this is a nice hill. Going by Highland Farms. Nice downhill section. Coming up soon on my first bailout option, which will be 10 miles, but I think I'm feeling very good, so I think I will continue and just continue to play it by ear.
This is My Body Odyssey, riding along with Larry Langmore, prostate cancer survivor, on the 40-mile option of the 20th Annual Maine Lighthouse Ride, which benefits the Eastern Trail. And whether it's adrenaline, ibuprofen, pure tenacity, or all of the above, Larry decides to keep on going past his first bailout option at 10 miles in. Kevin then catches up with him and the team around mile 15, where the route turns toward the winding shoreline at Nonsuch Cove and Prouts Neck.
All right, how we doing?
We're doing good. I made a game time decision to not bail out on my first bailout stop.
Okay.
So
Larry informs Kevin about a family cheering section that awaits them roughly 10 miles ahead, which is another of Larry's bailout points.
yeah, we'll go to Ferry Beach, rest stop there, I guess, and then. So I'm at Higgins. So that's where I live. So and we'll have a cheering squad there.
Oh,
so
excellent.
if you're there.
Then it's back onto a somewhat bumpier section of the road.
And how about the soreness from the yesterday's
So
tumble?
It's okay. I mean, it's there. I mean, if I go over bumps and laugh, feel it. But it's it's good.
Yeah.
So
There's a narrow section of gravel trail here, but it is alongside stunning natural views that help distract from the vibration and instability of the bike.
now we're going across the Scarborough Marsh, which is beautiful, largest saltwater marsh in Maine, and a lot of birding people out, passing the people who've already turned around on the trail.
Just under 20 miles, and the first rest stop comes into view. Here's another example of the planning and organization that goes into a ride like this one. There's volunteers along the way, directing cyclists at turning points with police at major intersections. And here at the rest stop, a half dozen volunteers. They provide snacks, drinks, directions, and information about the Eastern Trail Project.
I don't know why.
Yeah, because I don't have a bike. Road bike, I'm not.
Still looking for Larry and Kate, who unfortunately haven't rolled in yet.
Kevin gets to the rest stop well ahead of the We Ride team. He becomes a little concerned Larry's had to stop and call a family member to pick him up. Then he sees the We Ride jerseys come into view.
All right, so I'm seeing 3 riders, all with the same kind of teal blue jersey, which looks a lot like Larry and Kate. So that's awesome. Hey Kate, how are you?
How are you?
Good, how are you feeling?
Good.
Awesome, how's the team doing?
Team's good. Yeah, a little flat tire.
Oh, no way.
That's why we had to wait. We had to call the SAG group. And,
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So.
That's a bummer. So did they come and just change it out for them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
They did.
So how you feeling?
I'm
pretty
feeling
much the halfway point.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Awesome.
I mean, I think what I might do is I'll let them and you too, if you want to go out to the end of Prouts and back, it shaves off, I don't know, a couple miles, not much, but just rest a little longer here and then continue on. And down into Higgins Beach for the cheering section.
All right, there
Yeah,
we go.
you got to join us for that.
Here at the halfway point, we have the first indication Larry is tiring or feeling that injury from his training fall. It's probably unclear even to Larry, but a few miles later, around mile 23, he recommits to continuing the ride.
I was going to have someone pick me up at Higgins and take me out to Portland Headlight, but I'm feeling good. But
Perfect.
we'll just take it slow. So I figured I'll be slow here and.
Yeah, listen to your body and
Yep.
see how you feel. And
I mean, if it isn't 40, it's whatever.
it is
30.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still a great day.
Yeah.
Good.
Back in the saddle and on the road, the team passes through the cheering section at Higgins Beach, which includes Larry's friends, neighbors, and of course, his family. This is also the spot where just a few months ago, Larry led a memorial service for Dick, his longtime friend.
We did sea kayaking. We used to kayak the islands of off Deer Isle and other trips. Then we got into biking more recently. When I got back into it in 2019, we did some bike rides there. And he had stage 4 prostate cancer as well.
On the road at mile 30, the final rest stop comes into view at Kettle Cove State Park. Pine trees leading down to a black sand beach, a wide ocean vista, and cormorants drying their wings on the rocks and piers. Kevin arrives first, but Larry and the team pull up soon after, and several hundred calories into this ride, they survey the snack table.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think I'm the only one that's eating unhealthy chips. Everybody
Oh,
else
boy.
is eating
I'll join you.
bananas.
So
I did
and
the same thing.
Sandwiches. I'm like, literally nobody else is eating.
All I ate at the last rest stop was peanut butter cups
too.
and a bar.
I like you.
Because I'm riding 40 miles
I knew
today.
I liked you.
you deserve it.
Calories consumed, it's time to head back out on the road. But thinking ahead to a steep hill on the horizon, Larry decides to shave off a bit of that elevation.
Yeah, so the last leg.
So that's only like 2 miles I'll probably cut out because I'm going to avoid the big hill out by the lobster shack. Have you ever been down there?
No.
The view is unbelievable.
Oh, excellent.
But Larry can't avoid all the hills in this final leg back toward the finish area at Southern Maine Community College in South Portland, a school with an ocean view dining hall, by the way. And he's breathing noticeably heavier on these hills than he was at the start of the ride. Mile 35, and the team is reunited for that final push towards the finish, which is generally uphill. And talk turns to the art and science of shifting gears, which becomes so much more important as you tire, and even those small rolling hills, they take on additional gravity.
Yeah. Well, you have, what, the 3 and the 2 gears? Yeah. So that's what I like about this, because there's only one. It's 1 by 10, and so I don't have to worry about shifting the 1, 2, 3, and which is a pain in the neck.
Mile 39 plus, and Larry can see the finish line archway ahead. It's 5 hours since he and the team set off on that small detour before the 40-mile ride. 4 hours of that were on bike, averaging 10 miles per hour, and that's a good long ride for anyone. But at age 70, with a bruised back from a fall and stage 4 cancer, it's an ultramarathon.
You did it, Dad.
You did it.
Pretty amazing.
38 miles.
Never thought you were gonna be able to do all 38 or 38 out of the 40. Thought you were gonna be lucky to do maybe 10 or 15.
Right. Dan, come on up. Let's go across the line. We team. Woo! All right. Good job. Good job, team. We.
Ride completed, more photos are taken, the bikes are put away. Larry comes over to the My Body Odyssey tent for a final chat after lunch. We asked him how the ride went and how he felt with those 40 miles behind him.
Went well and a lot better than I was anticipating. I mean, I had, because of the injury I had 2 days ago falling off my bike, I had bailout contingency plans starting at 10 miles in, and we stopped at the house where I would have had people bring me back, and I said I'm going, so
Great.
I made the whole thing. So I
Great.
felt good.
And was that, do you think, adrenaline, or you just are over the injury you had a couple of days ago bouncing around on railroad tracks?
I was feeling better, and the doctor had said I hopefully will feel 80% better after day 1, and I did. So
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good. It's a little sore, but nothing unusual.
All in all, then, the ride today went far better than feared a few days ago when Larry had that training accident. He made some modifications here and there, but maintained his commitment to the ride as he does to exercise as part of his overall treatment plan. Unfortunately, though, not all cancer patients have either the access or commitment to exercise that Larry's displayed today in these past few months. Dr. Catherine Schmitz feels that poses a central challenge to oncologists, to cancer patients, and to their families.
So I still think that it is important to do research to understand the physiologic underpinnings by which exercise will have benefits for people living with and beyond cancer. But I think that we know enough, and we need to make this happen in the lives of patients and caregivers. And so to me, it is a crucial and central question to ask: how do we make it standard of care? How do we shift this so that people see this as being as important as their chemotherapy?
And that ends this chapter of Larry's Odyssey, or so he thought. And Larry called a few days later to tell us about his visit to the emergency room the morning after the ride, when he woke up with a lot of back pain.
So finally, a doctor came and he said, okay, well, I'm going to send you for the x-ray. I don't expect to see anything. And then we'll do an ultrasound just to make sure the internal organs all look good. And I think we should be fine and send you on your way. Then he comes back a little while longer. And he said, well, unfortunately, there are 2 fractured ribs 9 and 10, which are the lower ones. And he said they're flexible, but they're fractured. So after 7 hours, I got released. And he said, really, the only thing you can do is just rest, take it easy. And I kept pushing him. Well, what about bike riding? And my wife's, of course, over there saying, just tell him no, which is the right answer for sure.
And how about your wife and daughter?
Well, I mean, they were obviously surprised that they were broken. Maybe they weren't so surprised given my sort of determination to meet a goal and to get things done.
Wow. Well, that's quite an accomplishment then. Not long after chemo and with broken ribs, that is real dedication to the event and to cycling. So you should be proud of that. But we do agree with your wife that you should probably stay off your bike for a little while.
Well, certainly I will take that advice from you and her and anyone else. Huh. But, I was concerned also with the cancer. It makes your bones more brittle. So I take a shot for that. But that didn't seem to me. And so, maybe some of the determination of riding the 100 miles a month during the chemo, that just kept me going and kept me physically enabled to do all this.
The rewards and challenges of cycling with cancer this episode, featuring our determined protagonist, Larry Langmore, riding 40 miles along bumpy terrain with 2 broken ribs. Larry's now nursing that injury at home while thinking ahead to his next checkup on his cancer and counting the days till he can get back on his bike with friends and family to raise more money for Zero Prostate Cancer. There's a link in our show notes to Larry's fundraising page and to the Eastern Trail Association, organizers and beneficiaries of the Maine Lighthouse Ride, one of the best organized and most scenic rides on the East Coast or just about anywhere. Next up on My Body Odyssey, a bonus episode with another cancer survivor, Rebecca, who's 2 years out from chemotherapy, nursing a bad knee, yet hoping to complete the 100-mile option of the Maine Lighthouse Ride for the first time in many years.
Yeah, I started riding last summer, the summer of 2022. I started up on my bicycle again. I got a late start because I had COVID in May, and then I had another health crisis completely. Well, nothing is separate, right? My body was already compromised from everything else. Yeah. And so this other thing hit me really hard, and I ended up in the hospital for 5 days and wasn't able to do the ride right before the ride.
We hope you'll stay with us for that bonus episode. Share My Body Odyssey with friends and relations, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts. Very special thanks to Larry, Kate, and the We Ride team for making this episode possible. A major shout out to Kevin A. Klein for very literally riding along with Larry on this episode. And thanks to the Eastern Trail Association and Lana Westcott Events for putting on another great ride this year. My Body Odyssey is a Fluent Knowledge production. Original music by Ryan Adair Rooney.